If you're considering music lessons for your autistic child, you came to the right place. I am so happy to see that you feel the importance of music lessons for your child. Many parents think about piano lessons for their first musical instruments for their child. And I'm here to tell you that piano, violin, guitar, or drums might not be the best first instrument for your child's music education. And if you're wondering about my credentials, I grew up playing piano and I was introduced to music ever since I was a little girl, thanks to my wonderful parents. Played the piano until I went to college, and during admission time, I decided to be a singer for some mysterious reason. It still is a mystery even today. Went to Temple University for my bachelor and master in music, in voice performance and opera, and was a part of many competitive and prestigious opera programs in the country, and went to University of North Texas and obtained my doctorate degree in music. During all this time, I operated my private studio for voice and piano. My youngest group was babies. I'm not even kidding. And I also taught voice lessons and piano lessons to maturing voices who wanted to sing beautifully in churches. With my doctorate degree, I served as music professor in higher education. I also serve as the founder and master teacher at Quiet Forte Music Education for Autism. And I'm a mom to a wonderfully made, beautiful autistic child who's nonverbal and 2 beautiful dogs. I became to realize that for many parents, when they think of first music lessons for their children, they think of piano lessons. And having the piano background myself, I'm here to tell you as autism mom and music educator that perhaps piano might not be the best first instrument for your autistic child. For autistic children, having an instrument as big as piano in front of them can serve as distraction rather than something that will help them to flourish in music education. Now, there's time and place for them to learn piano and violin and other instruments. But when they're first starting and they have autism, having instrumental studies as their first music lesson might not be the best fit for them. So you may ask, what is that instrument? And I will say that instrument is very expensive. It's one of a kind. It's nature made. And it's something that you already own in your home. And that is singing, voice lessons. And I'm not saying this because I'm a singer, but I truly believe that singing lessons should be considered more than instrumental studies for your autistic child when they're beginning to take music lessons. Singing lessons will help your child to learn to communicate with intention without the distraction of an instrument. It removes the frustrating barrier of fine motor skills, allowing the child to focus 100% of their energy on intentional communication. I have witnessed this from my own daughter and amongst other autistic children who belong to my studio. That piano or any other instrument becomes distraction, that for neurotypical children, they use instruments to connect to the teacher. However, when it comes to neurodivergent children, the instrument often plays the role of distraction. And this is backed by cognitive load theory. Many autistic children experience dyspraxia or fine motor delays. By removing the mechanical demand of holding an instrument or finding the right piano key, you free up the brain's networks entirely for expression and social connection. And this leads to my second reason why singing lessons should be considered. It provides direct connection with people instead of a thing. It fosters human-to-human connection. Instead of hyper-focusing on a plastic toy or a piano keyboard, the voice naturally draws a child into shared smiles and eye-to-eye connection. It's fascinating to see from my own daughter that when I'm trying to teach her piano versus when I'm trying to sing with her, although she's autistic and having eye-to-eye connection is very difficult for her. She will look into my eyes a lot more during singing lessons versus when we are playing the piano together. Clinical studies on group music therapy demonstrate that vocal music interventions rapidly improve joint attention and social connections. These are the foundational building blocks for empathy, as the child learns to synchronize their timing and emotions with another person. When I was switching from being a pianist to a singer, one of the biggest challenges I faced was the setting of it. Piano, I communicate to the audience through the connection I have with the instrument. But with singing, I was standing like this in front of the audience, and I had to communicate what I was expressing directly to them. There was no hiding behind a fancy instrument. I was the instrument. So that particular element for singing lessons will be so beneficial for our autistic children. Oh, this is very important. Singing lessons helps with verbal abilities for autism. If your child is nonverbal like mine and they babble, singing lesson is a must. Enroll them in singing lessons ran by teachers who have classical music background. For a teacher to have classical music or classical vocal background from the schools they've earned the degrees from, they go through vigorous training. And one of the vigorous training they go through is diction. Diction meaning how to pronounce words as accurately as possible when you're singing with full vibrato. And the languages we study diction on isn't just in English. We learn diction in all of the European languages that contributed to the emergence of classical music. So we're talking about French, Russian, Spanish, German, and all these teachers who have bachelor music, master's, doctorate music have gone through vigorous training in diction. Now, why is this important for our autistic children, especially who are still nonverbal and babbles their creative language? When the child babbles something creative, for instance, my daughter the other day said, "Que, que, que, que." And me being an opera singer, I automatically went, "Que?" Like "que" in Italian. And we had a wonderful time going back and forth, making up songs out of che cosa, our own opera, branching from her babbling that mimicked some kind of Italian word. So not only they earn validation by you mimicking their babbling, which is crucial for early intervention for autism. So the confidence you build in that child isn't just we support you, it actually based on real thing. And that is so empowering. Singing is a low pressure backdoor to speech, using melody to help children find their voice when traditional talking feels too demanding. Neuroimaging studies confirm that music and language share overlapping neural networks. Meta-analysis show that vocal interventions significantly increase verbal skills, phonological awareness, and language acquisition in non-speaking or speech-delayed children. I've had some parents ask, they're autistic. What use would it be for them to enroll in classical music lessons? And I would ask them back and say, what's not musical about autistic children? They vocalize all day. They're creators. They're so innovative. They could be composers, and watch them do their movements with their hands, jumping up and down. There's special cadence and pattern to what they're doing if you watch very closely. What's not musical about that? Everything they do is musical in my opinion. Babbling can be any language. Stimming can be any theatrical movement and expression. Singing lessons validates their natural expression. Humming, babbling, and vocal stimming aren't behaviors to stop. They are a child's very first original songs and theatrical performances. The more they express themselves in singing lessons, where they're allowed to move and stim and vocalize, the teacher would use those things as tool to help them to create music together. Modern behavioral and neurodiversity affirming research recognizes vocal stimming and echolalia not as meaningless repetition, but as a form of sensory processing, self-regulation, and the initial stepping stone to spontaneous communication. And this leads to my next point, that singing lessons would provide total inclusivity for non-speaking children. A voice instrument isn't just about singing lyrics. It's sighing, humming, clicking, and rhythmic breathing. This makes it a perfect entry point for non-speaking autistic individuals to participate in music making without the pressure of articulation. If you're not convinced yet, I can go on and on and on to convince you that singing lessons will not be only helpful, but very vital in your autistic child's education. Singing lessons naturally come with breathing exercises. We have many patterns with varied intensity and styles that helps us to be better singers. Teachers can use breathing exercises to help your child to learn how to regulate their emotion and calm their nerves down. Singing is a built-in calming tool. Singing naturally forces deep, rhythmic breathing, which acts as an invisible grounding exercise to help to stop a meltdown before it starts. Studies on respiratory sinus arrhythmia and biofeedback in autistic individuals show that guided rhythmic breathing directly stimulates the vagus nerve. This lowers heart rate and shifts the autonomic nervous system from a state of fight or flight, anxiety, into a calm, regulated state. I think you're convinced, but I think you also want to learn more. So here's my next point. Singing helps them to use their body as an instrument, helps them understand their body. It builds crucial body awareness. Before a child can master an external object, using their voice helps them safely feel what is happening inside their own body. This connects to interoception, sensing internal body signals, and proprioception, awareness of the body in space. Research highlights that autistic children often experience sensory processing differences. The physical vibration of vocal cords provides internal tactile feedback that improves self-awareness and emotional regulation. And this leads to my next point, that singing provides immediate sensory and vibrational feedback. Many autistic children are sensory seekers. Humming, singing, or projecting the voice creates deep internal physical vibrations in the chest, throat, and skull. This internal tactile feedback is incredibly soothing and can act as an instant grounding technique. And finally, my last 2 reasons why you should consider voice lessons for your autistic child. I think a lot of moms will be excited for this. Other lessons, you are required to buy the instrument. Singing lessons, you already own the instrument, so no, you don't have to spend money in buying the instrument to keep up with the music lessons. So low cost, no need to buy an instrument. The ultimate accessible instrument is human voice. There are no expensive upfront costs, no broken strings, and nothing to leave behind. It's a tool they carry with them everywhere, completely for free. Me being one of the autistic parents, there are just so many costs. Autism is so expensive. There are many doctor's visits, therapy costs. And even when insurance covers, there is still a lot of things we need to take care of. Singing lessons, you just pay for the lesson, you bring your body in. Oh, the next point, because of that reason, zero transition anxiety. Singing gives you the ultimate portability. Transitions or forgetting a favorite item can cause immense distress. The voice requires no packing, no tuning, and no batteries. Batteries! I have a whole drawer of different set of batteries for my autistic child. And guess what? You don't have to worry about batteries for singing lessons. It is instantly available in the grocery store, in the car, or during a meltdown as a reliable tool for self-regulation. Start looking for a singing teacher around you. Make sure they have classical music background and ask them if they can take your child to their program and into their studio. My name is Una Hargraves, founder and master teacher for Quiet Forte, Music for Autism. And I make these videos periodically. And don't forget to share this video with people who would benefit so much from this video. The more you share this video gives us so much strength, more than you would ever know, to continue doing the work to bridge the gap between classical music education and autism. I'll see you next time. Have a good day.